All righty, welcome everyone. Hopefully you can hear and see me. Thank you all for joining us tonight for our demo day with a handful of awesome Korean startups. We'll get going here in another minute or two. Just wait for folks to sign into the event. So go get some beer, wine, water, snacks, and we'll get started here in the next like 2-3 minutes. Alrighty. Well, I think while folks still continue to sign in, I'm going to go ahead and get started with a little bit of the background and overview, and then we'll get going here with pitches here in a couple more minutes. For judges, presenters, all that stuff, just as a reminder. So when you're not on screen, just keep your mic off and you won't pop up. And then I'll call out your name and company when it's time to present, and then judges, I'll let you know when it's your time to shine as well. So thanks everyone for joining and for helping out. Yeah, just a little bit of background as before we get going on who I am, who WTIA is, who I assume most of you are already familiar, but we'll give a little bit of background there. Our partner, the Korean Innovation Center, will also introduce themselves, and then I'll give a little bit of a program overview, and then we get to do the fun stuff, which is hear from all the companies. So to start off, I will be your MC tonight. My name is Nick Ellingson. I'm a director of products and startup ambassador at the Washington Technology Industry Association. So for those of you who are not familiar with WTIA, welcome. We're awesome. Excited to make friends with you. I'm not biased at all when I say that we're great, but we're a trade association here focused on the tech industry. And our goal basically is to build a strong, sustainable tech sector in a thriving community. And so while our focus is Washington State, we're now the largest tech association in the country. And so we're doing a lot more regional and national, and in cases like this, international work. So we do a lot of different things ranging from public policy to offering health insurance, to events, to startup accelerators. But the common thread or the sort of mission is basically to create transformative programs that leverage the power of our collective membership. And so for today, this is the culmination of a program we've been running the last 2.5 months or so, with a couple breaks for Thanksgiving and Christmas. But the last 2.5 months or so with a group of 10 Korean startups that are evaluating the US. And so we've been working with the Korean Innovation Center for the last 2 or 3 years on these programs. This is our first one, all virtual. So less beer and wine, unfortunately, but otherwise still been a great time connecting with all the companies and helping them connect more into the local ecosystem. So with this program, the last 8 to 10 weeks or so, the companies have been through about 40 hours of curriculum, crash course on just kind of all things startup, and then also have been introduced to a bunch of local people for network building and market validation, and then receive mentorship. So yeah, you get to hear a little bit about the work they've been doing and the cool stuff they're building. So before we get to that, I'd like to introduce Joseph and Yumi. I don't know if both of you or one of you, but if y'all want to go off mute and introduce the Korean Innovation Center real quick, that'd be great.
That'd be great. Hi, my name is Joseph Kim. I'm a program manager here in KIC Silicon Valley. And next to me is Yumi. If she could introduce herself a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a program manager of KSC.
Yeah, and we're a Korean government agency that helps Korean tech startups come into the US market for an expansion. And by doing that, we offer different accelerating programs like the one we have today, TRT, and different training programs as well. So thank you for having me. This has all been a great, incredible journey so far. Almost 3 months, including all the breaks. And so, yeah, thank you, and hope the best for our companies today. Thank you.
So it's a friendly audience, so don't worry, it won't be too nerve-wracking. All right, cool. So the way this is going to work is each company will get 5 minutes to present, and then we'll have 5 minutes for Q&A. So we have some judges here that will help with Q&A. Judges, also I sent out the eval form. It's also should be attached to your calendar link. So should be in the order of the order their companies are presenting in, but just make sure to check the name at the top of each page. And then just send those to me when you're done. But for audience members, you're welcome to ask questions. Just throw them in the chat, and we'll get to those as well. Maybe actually, I forget if chat and Q&A both work on a webinar. So let's say put them in the Q&A, and I'll be checking kind of just the Q&A throughout. But judges, you'll have opportunities to ask questions too. We'll spend about 10 minutes per company on presentations and questions, and then move on to the next one. So. Yeah, you're probably tired of hearing from me at this point because there's more exciting things to be heard from. So with that, I'm going to bring up, actually, first, I want to introduce our judges real quick and let them give some background so you know who's going to be asking the questions. So first, I guess, Dave, from your new abode, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, Dave Parker. Just recently moved. Nick knew we were on the move, so out of boxes and everything set up, which is good. So for me, 5-time founder, sold three companies, closed 2, 10 total transactions, and just released my first book called Trajectory Startup. It comes out in March. So pretty excited about that. So thanks for having me. Oh, there you go. Look, Nick has it. So.
Well, thank you, Dave. Next, we'll go to Emily.
Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here. I'm also a multi-time founder, or not founder, but I've been at startups kind of, I think I'm on my 6th startup at this point. I tend to focus on the go-to-market side. I'm definitely a marketer, go-to-market strategist. So that's the part that I'll be kind of diving in for each of you and be able to support you there. But in general, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for helping out. Let's see, next, Joanne.
Mute. Hi, everyone. I'm Joanne Japan, and I basically focus on all things sales. That incorporates a little bit of marketing as well, but mostly B2B sales. I do some B2C as well. Unlike most people, I love sales. I love everything about it. So if you have any questions around that, I'm your person. Excited to be here.
Thank you, Joanne. And then last but not least, with a great name, Nick Jackal, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, my name is Nick Jackal. I'm the Community Engagement Director at Cambia Grove. Cambia Grove is a health innovation hub headquartered in Seattle, but we're focused nationally in the United States as healthcare is a national issue and opportunity for innovation. We care a lot about how patients can be recentered in their healthcare experience and how outcomes can be incentivized. So we're looking for innovations of all types, whether they're startups or policy improvements to recenter, again, the healthcare experience for patients and incentivize those outcomes. So that'll be kind of my lens as we get into the work here today.
Awesome, thank you. Cool, so with that now we'll get into the pitches. So first I'm gonna bring up Hayon with Sentience. So Hayon, if you wanna go off mute, turn your video on, I'll let you actually just share your screen, and then I'm actually going to time this. Don't worry, I'm not going to like cut you off at 5 minutes. Just if you go over 5 minutes, it cuts into your question time. So yeah, if you want to share your screen, I'll hit the timer once you get going.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I'll start. Hello, everyone. My name is Hayon. I am co-founder and COO from Sentience. So we provide a solution called Tend to Play, which provides personalized game offers to increase LTV lifetime value based on psychographic personas. Game publishers put a lot of effort into user acquisition, and game studios create quality games. However, The global average of day one retention is 25%, which means that 75% of users leave the game within 1 day. Also, after an average gamer buys or activates a downloadable game, 29% of them finish the game. So here is where we come in. Tend2Play provides personalized offers like item recommendations or game strategies based on AI-generated psychographic personas, such as whether they are collectors, achiever, or very competitive users. And that leads to increase in retention, revenue, and LTV. One of our clients, which create MMORPG, their retention increased by 13%, in-app purchase increased by 8%, and twice the conversion rate with Tend2Play. In another company who creates idle game, retention increased by 88%. And this is possible thanks to the top data engineering team and data business team with experiences in game and IT industry. Our CEO especially has experience of data analysis for the 3 big gaming companies in South Korea, NCSoft, Nexon, and then Marble. So here is our product. You can control when to deliver, what deals to deliver, and to whom to deliver. So for example, you can set like send potion pack deal when users lose 3 times at level 9. Also, Tend2Play sends AI-generated item recommendation and strategies with more than 28 of psychographic personas. So for example, if one does not want to pay anything but stuck in the middle of the game, Tend2Play provides a way to proceed in the game without paying anything, but maybe watching the ads. Also, we provide analytics dashboards to understand things like what items or help can you use to keep them playing, or when should you send those messages. So once you installed our SDK into your game, Tend2Play sends personalized offers, and you can see the LTV grows. So here are our tractions. We launched our product September 2020. And this is our business model. We are basically based on monthly subscription fee, and the price is penny per monthly active users. So given that the mid-sized game titles, there are 200,000 monthly active users, we get $2,000 per month. So assuming that these are the projected revenue. And this is where we are in the market. So the large numbers are service addressable market, and the small numbers are total addressable market. So gaming app revenue is huge market, it's growing. Game backend also growing, and game technology is also growing. And below are the market size based on each country. So starting from the South Korea, we are expanding our business to Japan and the United States, which will be about 40% of the whole market. So with this go-to-market strategy, we are going to become a medicine for gaming tech. We have competitive advantage since we have personalized feature, and it is very easy to use. So we're looking for potential customers and partners, and also a person who can help us expand our business globally. Thank you very much.
All right, nicely done. So with that, if you want to stop sharing your screen, we can bring the judges up to see what questions they might have. So judges, feel free to just go off mute and shout them out, or feedback or questions. Joanne, go ahead.
Talk to me a little bit about the psychographic profile. Are you guys using an Ocean model or DISC? Are you using IBM Watson? And that's part one of my question. Part two is, if I'm a new user to the game, because you had mentioned that sometimes a gamer will leave the game the same day, how do you have enough time to collect that psychographic behavioral information about me?
So answering for the first question, the example of psychographic personas, we developed the models based on the player motivational theories from the psychology theories and some behavioral economics. So there will be like those who are very personal intrinsic and social extrinsic. So we make the theories based on that, and developing the model itself, the variables are we set up the model based on some real examples that we can get from the variable itself. It is based on the gaming data, but the model we make it more realistic based on like communities like Reddit, or we get the ideas from that also too.
Okay, thank you.
And yeah, okay.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to keep. Yeah.
Sorry. What was the second
Just
question?
wondering so if I come onto the game and I've only been playing for a little while, how do you have enough time to learn about me? Does the AI help? Yeah.
Yes, right. So given that we developed the model, so it depends on the model. So some model, it takes like 1 day of playing data, or some models it takes like 3 or 7 days to make it learn. Then when the model is all set, then the model itself will identify the characters.
Thank you. Great job. Thank you.
Other questions from the judges or audience, feel free to throw some in as well, but we have another minute or two.
Yeah, just curious about total revenue so far. A penny in there's a bunch of math I have to do in my head there. Like your TAM, you show the size of the market, but I don't understand how big your TAM is. So if you can speak to that, that'd be great.
So I set our total addressable market as especially in the backend service, we have not limited to the gaming industry, but also maybe the whole market that will need the persona-based analytics for maybe in e-commerce and.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking more short term. How much revenue do you think you can do in 3 years? Because at a penny in active users, it's a pretty, 2 years, 3 years, whatever your off the top of your head number is. I'm curious about how big is the business versus my point of the TAM is I have to do the math in my head from the TAM data you put up there. Where I really want to know, is this a $10 million a year business or is it a $100 million a year business? And I'm not clear on that. So I thought I'd ask you just to speak to it.
Oh, so we projected the 3-year revenue as $10 million based on assumption that we have like 480 customers. I mean, games.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
And along those lines, do you mind sharing? So looks like you've got a couple great customers. Can you share how you got them as customers and how you can use your learnings to get future customers? Like, what's your plan to secure other customers or get those 480? What's kind of your strategy for doing that?
Well, for the first good customers, we were very lucky because they approached us first. So they were like, look, they are very interested in AI technologies and wanted to try new products, and they come to us first, and that is how we could beat those customers. And based on those our experience, we get to know that how to reach others, clarifying our messages and developing our product. Then so after we got those customers, we learned how to approach the new customers.
Awesome. And what did you learn that you can implement to get those new customers? What do you plan to do to get them?
So, well, this is more like product, and I think it will be more like that technical perspective. But we found that communicating, the publishers and studios, they are very difficult to communicate each other. Publishers want to increase their revenues, but the studios and development team does not want to like put more effort onto other things other than the developing the game. So we learned that we can be the bridge between those customers, those two team, and then we could solve that into our technical in the technical perspective. For example, like adding more like remote configuration part, or we are trying to like solve those communication problems.
Cool. Well, nice job. We're at time, so we're going to move on to the next one. But Nick, I'm probably coming to you first on the next one anyway, because we got one of our healthcare focused ones. So Haeyeon, good job. You did it.
Thank you.
Started us off well. So we'll continue the train next to Juan and iMedisync. Do you want to turn your mic on and share your screen, and then I'll hit the timer whenever you're ready.
All right. Let me pull this up. All right, I think go ahead and start now. All right, so hello everyone. So my name is Juan, and I'm Director and Manager of International Marketing and Sales here at iMedisync, where we are an AI-driven cloud platform for the early detection of neurological diseases and for mind optimization. So I'm sure some of you may already know someone that suffers from dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and other neurological diseases. And you know the toll it takes not only on the patient, but also on the family. I know personally, as I've had someone recently die from dementia this recent year. So this is a disease that plagues millions and millions of people, and it kills millions and millions of people as well. However, we have yet to develop cures for these diseases, and what's even worse, the early screening for these diseases is lacking. So that is what iMedisync is. Because as with any disease, like cancer, for example, early detection is key for proper care and treatment. So we are developing biomarkers to be able to screen for these neurological diseases at the early stage, also offering treatment. And we do this by harnessing the power of EEG brainwave mapping with our AI. And we have successfully created our first solution, iSync Brain MCI classifier, which within 10 minutes, we can show with more than 90% accuracy the likelihood of a person having amnesic mild cognitive impairment, which is a preclinical stage of Alzheimer's with a simple, easy to read and understand one-page graph, giving patients and medical professionals up to 10 years to fight the disease before it progresses to full-blown Alzheimer's. How does this work? We take a person's raw brainwave measurement, upload the data to our AI-driven platform, iMedisync, where we map a person's brainwaves. And within 10 minutes, our AI will produce a graph just showed like this. But you're also shown advanced analytics, including charts, graphs, and 3D models of the brain. So this is part of our C and R solutions that offer advanced analytics for both medical and research purposes. So during that time, we've also been developing our own proprietary EEG measurement device that is also capable of neuromodulation called iSync Wave. Our headset is dry use and much more efficient and easy to use compared to existing helmets. So easy to use that a non-expert can measure their own brainwaves without assistance at home, for example. iSync Wave will connect via Bluetooth to your Android-powered device, offering not only brainwave mapping with our AI, but also capable of offering personalized biomodulation therapy. Our cloud platform will allow the medical professional to provide LED photo biomodulation therapy while you're at their office or while you're at home. We intend to lead the market in neurological telemental healthcare, connecting patients with their medical professionals everywhere in the world. iSync Wave is set to launch by the end of Q1 this year, and we are also continuing to develop other neurological biomarkers for our solutions like our MCI classifier. By the end of this year, we will have our coma solution that will tell the likelihood of a person waking up from a coma and their expected brain functionality. You can also expect solutions for amyloid PET, and we are currently starting the development of biomarkers as they relate to Lewy body disease, depression, Parkinson's, and others as well. So one of the many markets we're going to target is pharma. Why? Because with this technology, we look at target pharma as they develop drugs for these kinds of neurological diseases, because they have been failing in this area to develop drugs for not only Alzheimer's, but Parkinson's, Lewy body, et cetera, et cetera. So with our product, pharma will be able to select the participants that are actually suffering from the disease being studied. And with EEG, they can see almost immediately what the effects of the drug are on the brain, without having to wait weeks for it to enter or to be absorbed into the bloodstream, making clinical trials more effective and efficient. So right now, our projections for profits are as follows, because all our money goes into R&D. So we expect for the first year, for next year, we'll be in the negative, but we expect to grow firmly within the next 5 years. We expect a huge exponential growth from 24 to 25. Okay, so thank you.
All right, nicely done. Virtual applause. So with that, if you want to stop sharing your screen, we'll bring some judges in. And Nick, as promised, we're going to go to you first.
Sure. Thank you, Juan, and thank you for your work. Exciting stuff. I'd like to drill down more on your competition. You're entering the life science space, and particularly pharmaceuticals is a very competitive space.
Yes.
What's the competition look like, and why is your solution distinctive?
Oh, it's distinctive because, for example, in the pharmaceutical stage, for example, I'll do the example for depression. So when you try to diagnose depression, you kind of have to get the impression of the patient themselves. You have to give them tests and have to meet them up for a week or 2 weeks. So, and when you diagnose a person with depression, it's very difficult. Why? Because depression, there is no single type of depression. There's various types of depression. So with ours in the future, once we develop the biomarker for depression, we can say, oh, person X, they have depression A, or depression B, or C, or D. We can pinpoint exactly what depression this person has. And so when the pharmaceutical company is developing the drug for a particular depression, they are actually targeting that particular depression. So that is how we are different than the competition as well. And when we talk about Alzheimer's, the way people diagnose Alzheimer's is also very lengthy. It's questionnaires. It's about seeing somebody with, it's about seeing your doctor over a period of time, not just weeks, but months or even years. And also to diagnose Alzheimer's, by the time you diagnose it, it's already too late. And also the methodology, it requires blood test or MRI, which can be expensive and very time consuming for the pharmaceutical company.
Cool. Other judges with questions or feedback? Joanne, you're on mute.
Nicely done. When do you guys expect to have revenue?
We'll have revenue by next year, but as far as like the net profits, probably in 2 years. So right now we have small revenue for our analytics that's being used in small clinics and research centers at the moment right now, but we're trying to get traction with them first as we start to get meetings with pharmaceuticals.
Got it. And what do you expect the business to be size-wise in three years?
In 3 years, I believe, hopefully we'll have revenues close to between 30 and 50 million. Okay. But again, all of that will hopefully probably go into R&D. So there won't be much net profit.
Yeah, no, this is a growth business, not a profit business for the near term, for sure. You have hardware is hard. So
yes.
Thanks.
Do you have, I understand that you're targeting pharma. Are you also pursuing like clinical applications for this, or do you not see that so much?
Oh, yes. Like, so one of the targets will be pharma, but however, there are plenty of applications for this. So So once we get our US FDA approval, we'll be able to target a lot more areas. However, for right now, for our MCI classifier, we feel right now that is very, very useful for pharma and their struggles that they have right now with Alzheimer's. And also recently, Eli Lilly recently they acquired a company that is doing research for Alzheimer's because they have been failing year after year in the development of Alzheimer's. So that's why we're going to try to start with pharmaceutical. But yes, the clinicals, there is tons of opportunity there. Yes, especially for our helmets that we'll have for sale as well.
Do you think FDA approval is, the next 5 years, or do you have a timeline on that?
For FDA approval, we expect that to be by this year. So we have the Korean FDA approval. So in Korea, we've already started to get, we have starting to get interest from companies here in Korea for pharmaceutical companies, and right now hospitals, they are using our products. We have traction right now in Korea, but we're trying to get traction in the US as well.
So one audience question real quick. Could you talk about how much the helmet costs, and then also just any other pricing related to like the app or the analytics?
Yeah. So I'll start with the helmets. Right now, we have our final prototype. So the cost of the helmet will be competitive with what's out there in the market for dry use of brainwave helmets. So right now, those helmets, they cost between $20,000 and $30,000. So ours will be competitive with what's out in the market, but unlike others, we will offer photobiomodulation therapy. And as far as the software itself, to run the analysis of the brainwaves, at the moment, people pay per analysis. So if they own, for example, if our system, right now we have 4 types of analysis that they can run. They have like individual, and they have like MCI and another as well. So they pay per analysis. So if they only want the most basic analysis, they will pay about $16. And then if they want to run a different, more advanced analysis, like for like AMCI, then they'll pay an additional, for example, $40, for example. So they'll pay based on on the analysis that they run.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, and great timing. There's 5 seconds left, so you did it. So yeah, good job.
2 points, right?
Yeah, I'll send you a trophy or something like that, or give you like I'll find a good, I don't even know what they're emoji in Slack that looks like a trophy. Let's see. So next up, we've got so Chang Sing with TestWorks. If you want to turn your mic on, and your video is already on, but turn your mic on and you can share your screen, and then whenever you're ready, we can get going.
Okay, can everyone see the slide? Yeah.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay. Wait a second. Let me. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me. I forgot to share the slides. Okay.
There we go. All righty. It is up there. So yeah, whenever you're ready, whenever you get started, I'll start the timer.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Chang Sin Lee. I'm the CTO of TestWorks. TestWorks is a leading AI data processing and social enterprise based in Korea. So the overview is I'm not going to go over this. So the problem statement. So the problem that we are trying to solve is how to get the data for AI development. So self-driving cars, for instance, it needs a lot of images for the training. So how do you get the data, and how do you annotate in such a way that you can the AI engines can tell cars versus people versus road, etc. And it turns out that the most difficult part and most time-consuming part for AI development is how to get the data and annotating the data correctly. So it consists of the 3 parts: collection, annotation, and review. And in each of the stage, there are a lot of problems associated with it. So our solution is we have 2 platforms and one-stop solution for all data processing needs. From the collection, annotation, and review, we have a crowdsourcing platform, and you can access through web and as well as from the mobile apps. The people can donate and as well as do some annotations. And then we have a automated, semi-automated annotation solution, which does de-identification. De-identification means removing the personally identifiable information, like your person's face, for instance. And we do auto annotation first, and then experienced annotators come and annotate and fix the mistakes. And then we have a 3-step inspections for the quality control. So what sets us apart from other AI data processing companies is first, because we are crowdsourcing and web and app platforms, we are scalable when there are a diverse set of the data processing needs. And also we have automated de-identification and auto annotation, which gives us productivity. And we have been in the business for 5 years, and we are one of the leading data processing companies in Korea. And so we have the internal process, and we have expert annotators and reviewers for the quality control. And it's shown by our customers. StrataVision is self-driving cars, and it's also in the US. And this review is from a US source, and we are the consistent message of all this customer feedback is that we are a top data processing company. We have a high control, and we are very systematic about our approach. And it's resulted in our rapid growth since the inception of the company in 2015. In 5 years, we have grown into $10 million US dollars in last year, and over 100 employees. And we just finished a Series B investment last year. And the market analysis, in the global market, it was supposed to reach $6.5 billion by 2027. And we are targeting the US, North America, which is over 1/3 of the global market. And also what's unique about our team is that we are the social enterprise. What that means is that we cater for the needs of the people with disabilities, like neurodiverse and hearing impaired, as well as women with career gaps, as well as IT experts. As our team of executives from the global companies, Microsoft, Amazon, and Samsung, with a good team of executives. And our plan for the global expansion is that this year, 2021, we want to enter the US market through KIC program and WTIA. And we want to globalize and localize our platforms. And by next year, we want to establish branches in the US and Vietnam, and setting up the marketing and sales team in the US. And we want to increase the sales in the global market and provide more jobs for the socially disadvantaged people, especially. And what we need is we are targeting small to medium AI companies. They need data collection and annotation, and to network with AI research institutions to collaborate on providing the AI solutions. So we not only work on providing the data, but we are also in our own R&D team. We are working on actually providing the solutions ourselves. So here's you can find more information from our website and we have blogs. Yeah, so that's the end of our presentation.
All right, nice job. So yeah, if you want to stop sharing your screen for a second, or I guess since you have contact info, you're welcome to leave it up for a second or two if you want. But yeah, we'll go to the judges. Whoever wants to start, what questions do y'all have?
Again, thank you for your work and the presentation. I was taken and trying to key in on your slide that you were sharing around social impact. Not that you need to pull it up again, but curious to know more about the product.
Nick, we can't really hear you. You're gargling.
Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit.
Oh no, is that any better?
Still kind of gravelly. Maybe if you want to type it into chat, I can ask it. So while we wait for that to happen, other judges want to step in while Nick types up his question?
Quick question. Will you talk about the competitive space, kind of what coming into the US market looks like for you and who else is in the space, how saturated it is?
Yeah, so there are big players. It is a pretty competitive space, data processing, and there is, for instance, Amazon Mechanical Turks and the Cloud Factory, for instance. That's why our initial launch customers, we are targeting small to medium businesses where they might not have the resources of their own, and these bigger AI processing companies, it's not enough for them to cater to the specific needs of these small to medium companies. Because what we found in our business experience is that these are small to medium companies. They need a very kind of specific data and a very specific type of annotations to be done. And usually the big companies is kind of is either not profitable or do not have the resources to cater to those needs. So that's why our initial launch customer is small to medium businesses.
Okay, thank you.
Can you share the average deal size that congrats on 10 million in 2020. I mean, that's great traction. Can you share kind of like the deal size you've gone after and some of the go-to-market strategy that you think you can repeat in the US as you expand, like things you've learned going after your current market and what you can apply to your global expansion?
So what worked in our case is that first of all, the average deal size, it varies. So anywhere between let's say maybe $10,000 to maybe $1 million or a few million. A big one I think is about maybe 1 to 2 millions. I think are the big projects are for us. And there are even smaller ones like 10 to like 20,000. It varies. I'm sorry. What was the second question?
So clearly you know how to sell because you've been selling these big deals. So what do you think you can apply to the U.S. market that you've learned from selling this type of deal currently?
Yeah. So what we found is that the quality is really important. The Start Vision, which is our actually the first customer, and they are still our customer after 4 years. So what we found is that at first we had some quality problems because we hired the people with disabilities and people with autism. They are great, but they have a hard time of learning the first steps. But if they are given the correct manuals, they are more productive than normal people. But at first we had the problems, and we didn't have the quality control in place, and we had a big problem. So after we fixed them, we had manuals in place. Then we began to have the trust of the customers. And in fact, a lot of right now, even in Korea, there are a lot of data processing companies. They outsource to developing countries like Africa or Southeast Asia, and they tend to come back to us because they found this outsourcing model doesn't work because of the quality problems. So I think we also apply to the U.S. market because there are a lot of companies. Cloud Factory, for instance, all their data is processed in developing countries.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, good job. So that's 10 minutes. So we're going to move to the next presenter. But Chang-Sin, good job. And so you can just turn your mic off, and you'll be hidden from the screen. So next we'll bring up Jason with Blue Signal. So Jason, if you want to turn your microphone on and share your screen, then I'll hit the timer whenever you're ready.
Hello, everyone. Wait a minute. I will prepare for the presentations.
Ready, we can see your screen, so whenever you're ready.
Okay. How about this? Is okay?
Yep.
Okay. Hello, my name is Jason Beck, CEO of the Blue Signal, the company that makes the smart mobility market by predicting future traffic situations. Drivers are spending 100 hours a year just sitting in traffic due to traffic congestion and accidents. Unfortunately, this problem happens all over the world. A lot of time is wasted due to transportation problem. And this phenomenon has a lot of influence the economy as well. Now, it's time to solve this problem. Our concept are start from AI and analyzing traffic data. AI is well known to be able to predict future conditions and calculate risk. So we have developed a platform that use AI to predict traffic condition by combining traffic data with external factors such as weather, constructions area, and accidents. With our platforms, we can predict the traffic conditions from 3 seconds to 6 hours into the future. Our overall idea is to cope with the risk, avoid congestion, and solve traffic problems by combining traffic data with prediction and applying this to current infrastructure, like a traffic light. Drivers can be fully aware of traffic congestions by seeing this data in their vehicle's head-up display. Unlike current head-up display, our display future congested area and potential dangers while driving. This is to help drivers arrive safely to their destinations. The other things, our Navibox consists of hardware, which is an edge-based camera sensor, as that can warning is future risk, unexpected situations of a pedestrian or a vehicle. This helps to predict vehicles and pedestrians. By warning of unauthorized crossings, blind spot, traffic violations, and lane violation in advance. And this device will enable autonomous vehicles to travel safely in urban area or intersections. The another characteristic is that is predict this situation, control the traffic light. We call this solution as named signal optimizer, and use smart city solutions. This is signal optimizers is a solutions that optimize all of city cycle, signal cycles in each direction to predict future traffic volume and use this data as the basis for controlling traffic signals. It is the special advantage of being able to provide benefit without changing the changing the transportation infrastructures. Our target market is the intelligent transportation market among the smart city solutions. We will join a lot of smart city projects now globally and the domestic project. This market increased by 11.5% every year. And we targeting market and the domestic 5% and it's overseas market 5% and domestic market is 3%. We're targeting B2D and B2B. Paying customers including SK Telecom in Korea, as well as the major organization in Dubai, China, Brazil, in Taiwan. Additionally, our technology will be applied to the entire city of Sejong after test in 2021. In the future, we will try to integrate with more diverse transportation-related industry. We are developing business in cooperate with the local companies in various countries globally and together. We will develop and advanced blue signal cities suitable for the local country. Blue signal traffic expert groups. Our co-founding team has a wealth of experience in business, marketing, and technology development. Blue signal future traffic prediction platform service will become globally spread through company office in US and Hong Kong. And our mission is to save life and money by reducing traffic congestion and traffic accident. Thank you.
All right, nicely done. Judges, what questions do you have? Emily, you're ready to go, so we'll start with you.
Well, I have to say, okay, as a marketer, your presentation is gorgeous. So kudos to you on that. I want to hear how you're going to make money. So talk to me about some of these different, it looks like you have lots of different partnerships and lots of different ways to make money, but talk to me about what that looks like. What's the deal size? And how much money do you expect to make in the next couple of years?
Our revenue is focused on based on the traffic prediction platform. And then this platform apply to a lot of relations traffic industry. It's currently, we have a main revenue is collect from the smart city project by the controlling government and the local government agency. The another profit is from automaker and logistic, just like relations traffic industry.
So is this like a couple $100,000, $1 million deal? Like, I'm just trying to get a sense of like how big this opportunity is.
Okay, we are including for the focus and our special technology like future traffic prediction. And in case of a smart city project, it needs to as core technology is a case of traffic prediction volume or traffic future traffic amount, just like this. And then we join this part, and then we can get at the like some part of the total smart city budget. And then in case of automakers, we focus on the license fee and the maintenance fee. We can get it from the extra is service fee.
Joanne, go ahead.
Does anyone else have a question? Because this is about the tech, and I'm just curious. So
go for it. We got time for multiple questions.
Okay. So here's where I'm struggling with, and this is more of a curiosity question, but if we know traffic patterns without the AI, and we know that bad weather might impact them, and we know rush hour and stuff like this, the things that might make traffic really bad don't seem predictable. Maybe there's a crime happening, or things that AI can't predict. I'm curious how that how this AI is adding in that layer that would help us beyond knowing that bad weather's coming, knowing what time of day it is, knowing we live in a congested city, that certain routes, no matter what, there's just too many people in cars. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Okay, using his AI in the prediction area is common, but our solution is very specialized for decide the signal cycle to the direction. We can get this special signal cycle interval is we have some our is a core technique is so we need to analyzing some specific area like some Washington Bridge. In case of Washington Bridge, all of the time is a congestion, but we can get some information of some area like some heavy congestion area as a little bit more some enhancement area. We're analyzing this area, and then we decide to signal like interval based on the total future traffic amount. This is like some little bit difficult, but we have a more specific solution. So we need the analyzer first. Yeah, right.
That's why I'm not understanding. No, thank you. Okay.
And then time for probably one more question.
I've got one. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect now.
Okay, that's great. A similar question, just from curiosity and as a layperson in this space, I'm just curious. It seems to me that Uber and Google and other auto manufacturers are competitive in this space and are solving a lot of the problems that you're looking to. Can you just talk a bit about the competition and again, kind of your distinction in that space?
Right. Maybe Google or another competitor, right? Because there's the same thing or a similar is a pattern, but we focus on the risk. Risk is a little bit different. In case of Google or another wage service, is not just only focused on the congestion, but our solution is like including more the another thing is risk. Risk is this very deep influence for the traffic congestion or traffic problem. So we can predict the risk level, and this level is adjusted a lot of our solution. That is very helpful for the information. So I think it's a little bit different, a lot of things, but our main difficult focus on the risk is factor.
Cool. Nice job. And so yeah, we're at time. So yeah, good job. And feel free to just turn your mic off, and that'll save you from having to be on screen. So next we got Jay with AIMon. So any parents with high schoolers on the call should definitely pay close attention to this pitch or presentation. So Jay, whenever you're ready, go ahead. We can see your screen. So go ahead when you're ready, and I'll hit start.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Kim, CEO of AIMon, and I'm very excited to have an opportunity to share what my team and I've been doing. We're now living in a world of efficiency. Everything is automated and optimized in ways to significantly reduce the time and energy we spend. But unfortunately, this didn't take place in education much. Students are very different in their strengths and weaknesses, but education itself has become very standardized and uniform in the name of equality, and we plan to change that. Here, I want to highlight the main points of today's presentation by using 4 keywords. First, as experts in both education and business, we are a strong team to successfully execute this project. And second, our product will be the only real AI-based test prep service in the market. Third, the initial market that we're targeting is a $10 billion market with greater potential globally, but this is only the start. Fourth, we estimate that the cost of fully developing our product will cost around $300,000. The initial market that we'll be entering is the SAT and ACT test prep market, which has a size of $10 billion and is expected to continuously grow. So even only 5% of this market share will be $500 million. So it has great potential. The current major players in this market can be divided into 3 groups or generations. The first generation of education companies focuses on textbooks and online lectures, and Kaplan or Princeton Review, I guess most of you guys are quite familiar with it, might have studied it to go to college and stuff. The second generation simply migrated and moved all the contents online, so their business model is online, but their content is still fixed. It doesn't adapt to individual students. Now, the third generation, which is us, added artificial intelligence or different programs to customize these contents and services to individual students. The point that I would like to make here is that the major test prep companies are still in the first generation stage. And even the rising companies are still not making that much improvement to the third generation, whereas we are jumping straight to the third generation. The reason we started this project is because we observed 3 big problems with the current test prep services and products. The current services and products only focuses and covers the basics, which doesn't really focus on increasing the scores, whereas the student actually needs the scores to apply to a better school and to prove that they actually have the capability. They sometimes have to go through 3-hour-long full-length tests just to get started, and the curriculums and services provided are still not customized and are uniform, not reflecting each student's strengths and weaknesses, which makes study ineffective and inefficient. And lastly, of course, is the price. To simply define our product is an online AI-based question bank service, which has the following 3 unique components: test analysis, student analysis, and finally the core of our product, which is the AI-based question recommendation based on the previous 2 analyses. What really differentiates us from the others is that instead of studying A to Z, cover to cover. Our service helps students to study only what they really need to study, because each student have their own weaknesses and strengths, and they're at different levels, and thus help them study, save time and energy. In order for the AI-based question recommendation system to function effectively, it needs to know exactly what kind, what difficulty, and what type of question the students are having trouble with, and thus defining each question is a critical step. The following is the actual screenshot of part of our service. And as you can see, we define not only the question types, but also the incorrect answer choices, and also the passages in the reading and writing sections, which helps the AI to fully understand the questions that students are having problems with. We reflect students' study habits, such as login frequency, duration, amount of study per sign-in, as part of student analysis. And of course, their weaknesses and strengths as well. Knowing their study habits greatly influences our customization in their curriculum. As you can see here, individual students' previous result actually gets reflected into their later study or the later set of the questions that they solve. Our AI analyzes the data of other similar students and suggests an optimized curriculum or a row of study materials that can maximize students' learning curve. The current business model that we have is as shown. We are considering B2B model as well, which includes schools and institutes as well. So aside from selling directly to students as a B2C, we're doing B2B model as well. As mentioned at the beginning of our presentation, our team members have firsthand experience with teaching students, developing content, and actually planning and running global projects. Most of us have worked with ACT themselves and with Princeton Review. And a couple of weeks ago, while we were visiting the high schools in the United States, we finalized the joining of a professor in Harvard Graduate School of Education who have been involved in our project from the very beginning. Due to the flexibility and applicability to other tests and studies, we are working to expand and apply our technology to other test markets as well. So it's not limited to SAT and ACT alone. For example, we plan to enter the TOEIC market early this year, if not mid this year, which has an international market size of $100 billion, which is 10 times the size of SAT and ACT market. And we already have part of the content ready for TOEIC. What you're seeing here is a projected monthly revenue and traffic for the next 12 months after the launch of our full product. The AI solution will be adapted 6 months after the launch once we successfully accumulate a significant number of student data and tested the efficiency or the effectiveness of the solution. As I said before, we calculated that we'll need roughly $300,000 to fully develop our solution. We are currently at the stage of testing our MVP. We already have 3 high schools in the United States to beta test our product, to accumulate the student data and to actually see the effectiveness of our solution. And this is how we plan to use our $300,000 dollars. Thank you very much, and I'll take questions from now.
Nice job. So we had one question in the chat, but I think you already answered it. But Phil, if you want more clarification there, just feel free to type it in again. But I think you already talked about it with the expansion of other tests. So yeah, if you want to stop sharing your screen real quick, then we can get to judges. It looks like Nick, you already have your hand up, so we can start with you.
Okay, wonderful job, and couldn't agree with you more in the placement of your efforts. This area needs to be disrupted. This area needs to be democratized. Couldn't agree with you more. Wanted to talk a bit, and this is the theme, I suppose, of my questions throughout, is competition. You rightfully called out Princeton Review, Kaplan, and the like. Khan Academy has emerged as a huge player in this space. They're free. How do you compete with that model? How do you complement that model? What's distinctive about your approach?
So Khan Academy, like you mentioned, it's free. It's one of the biggest and well-known sources that students actually use. Even the teachers recommend it strongly. And I believe their strength is in the cost, which is 0, and the amount of information that they actually have, amount of material that they actually cover. Now, students obviously cannot use the whole content that they provide. It's just too much. It's not, we're living in a world of information. It's not that we don't have the materials or we don't have the information. We can get it online. The question is how to effectively make use of it. And what our model does is to handpick and prioritize the content that the individual student needs to study in order to maximize their score. Now, the reason I use the word score is that we don't actually, the product here is not it's not focused on actually teaching the student to expand their knowledge band and to, help them have more creativity, but to purely save time in raising their SAT and ACT scores so that they can use their time in other things, in their hobbies, in their extracurricular activities to further develop their potential. So to answer your question in a short sentence, it's where we can filter the amount of information that's out there to customize to individual students to maximize their study efficiency.
So one question from, because a couple people have asked in the in the chat, so just to clarify. So if SATs and ACTs, don't come back as mandatory, would the plan be then to expand to other tests quicker? Would you move away from SAT, ACT prep, or if they just, what's kind of the plan if with that test prep specifically?
So the only reason we started with SAT and ACT is because we already had the content and we were most familiar with it. But as we were traveling and meeting with high school faculties in last November, they were saying that they actually need more tools that's involved with state assessment tests. And that's one of the areas that we plan to explore this year because it's not that different from content-wise, it's not that different from SAT and ACT, and turns out there's more need than SAT and ACT in the viewpoint of schools. So yes, we plan to expand more aggressively to other test preps or tests and education themselves. SAT and ACT is one of our stepping stones because it was easier for us to enter.
So we're at time. So unless one of you has a super pressing question, we'll move on to the next person. So yeah, Jay, thanks. Good job. And excited to get you back to the States here soon.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So next I will bring up, let's see, Yellen and Zetabank. And you probably know the drill by now, but feel free to just share your screen, and then whenever you're ready, I'll click go.
Okay, I'm ready.
Ready?
Yes. Our company, Zetabank, has developed AI-enabled autonomous disinfection robot to help hospitals, office buildings, and other public spaces increase safe environment. People are suffering from virus and bacteria-related diseases. Across the globe, the COVID-19 outbreak has caused considerable pain and suffering. It also made it unsafe to go into many of public spaces we are used to being in, such as offices and schools. Therefore, there is a need and current demand for better disinfection solutions. The current disinfection solutions lack the capabilities to continuously monitor and efficiently disinfect. Our Zetabank addresses these concerns. Zetabank combines 3 methods of disinfection to ensure the following results: air purification, ultraviolet light, and ethanol sanitization. This is our product lineup. This healthcare-focused device automatically confirms a personal identity, checks their temperature, presence of a mask, and provides us hand sanitizer. Our disinfection robot uses air purification, ultraviolet light, and ethanol sanitization to automatically disinfect a public space while autonomously navigating the area. Our disinfection service robot helps cleaning and assists sanitary staff to do their job more efficiently and effectively. For all-day disinfection, our robot automatically recognizes spaces in the building and collects the environmental data. Here's our methods of disinfections. We use air purification, ultraviolet light, and ethanol sterilization. Later on, we're gonna work on the air decontamination. And collect our AI technology efficiently navigates and improves indoor environments utilizing a 24/7 monitoring system. Our companies have 3 methods of disinfections, but other companies do not have. This is our list of test report and our IT. Zetabank is the next revolution in a growing disinfection market, which last year surpassed $1 billion. To make a better product, we have been collaborating with Intel, Buptle, provincial governments, and we have been collaborating the top 11 pharmaceutical companies starting from 2018. Later on, we're gonna apply air decontamination technologies that is proven by NASA. Our CEO has 23 years of IT experience in the areas of hardware, software, and content. Our CEO and CFO have experience of their area for 30 years. Our engineers have experience of robotics. With a suite of products, Zetabank is creating business model for disinfection that can be used across industries to keep public spaces safe and clean. Our ultimate goal is AI robotics platform. Thank you.
All right, nicely done. So judges, what questions do y'all have? And audience, feel free to throw any into the Q&A if you have any as well. Joanne, I see your hand up. Do you want to start us off?
Unmute. Couple questions. I like I'm talking to it, like I'm gonna unmute if I just say unmute enough times. 2 questions. You were going through some of that pretty fast, but can you speak to us a little bit about the efficacy rates? You know, can you send one of your bots into a school and then say, okay, it's COVID safe? Like I can send my kids, I don't have them, but if I did, to school, you know, is it a sort of nice to have, like it would clean it, or is it, I'm unclear on exactly how effective it is. And what is the competitive, you know, is everything else man-powered? There's nothing else that's automated in the market. Is that accurate? So it's 2 questions.
So our robot has the functions for the disinfection method that is used for air purification and ultraviolet light to kill the bacteria on the floor. And then we are gonna disperse our ethanol on the floor. And then the second question is
the second question was just, are you the only solution in the market right now that's automated?
Yes.
That doesn't need someone to operate it?
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Other judges?
I have another question, but for others, if they have one, but looking like they might not. My question is mostly around COVID and kind of the cause for spread. I think we've learned a lot about it over the last year, and we're now in a consensus, it seems, around that it's rather airborne, and surface areas aren't the major source of transfer. So just curious as to what the product fit looks like at this stage in our understanding of the disease.
And one thing to note too is they started developing these before COVID, but yeah, Yellen, can you speak to sort of effectiveness against COVID and how that's affected your product?
So for the cobalt solutions right now, the people is working on the disinfection, and they uses the disinfectant to disinfect, but they don't have the data how much they disinfect in the building. But we are collecting and analyzing and utilizing data, providing disinfection methods.
Thank you.
Emily, I saw you had your hand up, or virtual hand.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about some of your customer traction. Do you have any people using your robots today? And you know, how big of a deal? How big is the deal size when you sell? Like how much money do you make with these really cool robots?
So right now we've been seeing the robots using the ultraviolet light, but we've never seen the disinfect industry methods of like our robot. And then the robot cost is expensive, the $45,000 right now, but we are not working on the mass production yet. We are working on the demo in the Gwangju studio right now in Korea. And after finish, we are working on the demo. We're gonna find the industry line, and the cost is gonna be more lower than now.
Alrighty. Any final questions? We got a couple seconds left. So if there's a really pressing one, judges feel free to shout them out. But otherwise, Yellen, good job. You did it. So yeah, feel free to turn your mic off, and we'll move on to the next person. So see who that is. So next we'll bring up, oh, you're ahead of me. Good job, Douglas. So yeah, you're ready to rock. So I'll go off mute, and whenever you get started, I'll hit the timer.
Got it. Hello, I'm Douglas, CEO of OST, and we provide IoT-based personalized mobile wellness care service to help people find healthy lifestyle. Right now, we're living in a world where 65% of the global population is either overweight or obese, and 40% of these people develop diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. And every month, 3.2 million patients die just because they have too much body fat or lack of muscle mass. I was also once diagnosed with pre-diabetes at age of 15, and one of the common mistakes I used to make is that we still rely on weights and BMI on a daily basis to evaluate our current health status. Or we still go to a fitness center or clinics to measure various vital health data from big expensive medical devices. Or we still spend thousands of dollars to receive personal guidance from trainers or clinicians. And we believe all these methods are expensive, time-consuming, and inconvenient, especially during COVID-19. This is why I'm happy to introduce Fictrix, a IoT-based personalized mobile wellness care service. Fictrix is one and only service that remotely manages, monitors, and leads customers to a healthy lifestyle through personalized digital health content based on the vital health data measured from our own device. Fictrix platform is powered by in-house developed pocket-sized IoT device that measures 8 different vital health data from your fingers within 5 seconds, such as your body fat, muscle mass, heart rate, your oxygen saturation, stress level, and even your forehead temperature for COVID-19 symptoms. And we finally provide digital content that fits your body type through a mobile app. The best part is that we analyze your vital health data into 3 body types, 4 different stages with 25 classifications, and finally provides more than 300 plus personalized digital health content that includes analysis and trend, AI-based exercise and nutrition guidance, and finally rank and reward system to increase your motivation and engagement level. We currently plan to expand our digital health contents with AI personal training, leveraging our motion detection and analysis technology. And due to COVID-19, global digital health market size is estimated $100 billion in 2019. And within digital healthcare market, mobile fitness is expected to reach $2 billion by 2024. Therefore, our total market in the United States is 218 million people who are either overweight and obese. Our served market is 87 people who are overweight and obese willing to purchase wellness device. And finally, our market share is $755 million, composed of early adopters and innovators. We're going to scale our business not through one-time hardware sales, but instead through Fictrix 60 days online subscription program, where you can make new friends, lose weight, and receive free $99 device with $200 worth of cash rewards, everything through online. And here are a few successful stories in Korea from our customer. As you can see from the pictures, amazing body transformations. Per program, we were able to help them lose average 6 to 13 pounds with 60% re-enrollment rate. But not to mention, also in the United States, we have successfully launched Fictrix 60-day program with employee wellness program with Priority Life Care. As a result, each participant was able to receive $50 insurance discount. And today we're conducting a regional challenge with 1,000 participants. We also have successfully launched Fictrix 60-day program through a fitness pilot with CrossFit Gym. As a result, we have installed our Fictrix platform into 3 different CrossFit Gym, and today we're expanding to 50 different locations. In 2017, we started off with one-time hardware sales, generate $220,000 with 2,000 plus users. In 2020, we have generated $1.2 million revenue with 10,000 plus users by launching Fictrix 60-day subscription program. For our roadmap in business side, we started off with hardware sales and successfully switched to subscription model through Fictrix 60 days. And today we look forward to launch Fictrix 60 days for enterprise level, targeting life insurance and senior care. And finally, our ultimate goal is to provide data service by predicting and preventing chronic diseases. For solution side, we started in 2020. We developed health dashboard along with smart band that I'm wearing right now that monitors your sleep, oxygen saturation, heart rate, and blood pressure, followed by cuffless blood pressure and also sleep monitoring solution using UWB radar. All of this is possible because we have currently 22 full-time employees from doctors, trainers to developers. Today, we have raised up to $900,000 seed investment. We received $3 million government grants, and we generated cumulative revenue of $3 million. We have 7 registered patents, cleared 4 different product certification, and also received FDA level 1 registered number. Here are some of the global accelerator we have participated, highlighting some of the plug-and-play health badge and eLab in NYC. Also a global partnership from gym, fitness center, to supplement company, to insurance carrier. As you can see, we're ready. All we need is your support, and we can help people fight this global epidemic together. Thank you.
All right, great job. So yeah, if you want to stop sharing the screen, then we'll get to judges. So whoever wants to start, feel free to go. Or while you think of questions, I'll ask one audience question from Dan Kahanya here. So Dan asked, have you considered partnering with other subscription programs like Noon and Fitbit?
Well, we think of them as our partner because Noon, they only provide one-to-one personal training, but they don't use any of the biometric data. And our uniqueness is that we have our own 8 different vital health data. They can even customize current Noon health contents. We definitely look for a Noon partnership, but I guess I lack network currently to connect with Noon. But definitely it's one of part of roadmap, such as Noon or MyFitnessPal or Weight Watchers. None of them use any of the vital health data that we measure from our own device. And just to let you know, this is how big the device is. It's very small, pocket size, and the smart band that I'm wearing.
With all the gear. Judges, what questions y'all have? Joanne, looks like.
Well, how did you arrive at a 60-day subscription? I'm curious about that decision.
Right now, in the beginning of pilot, we started off with 100 days, 90 days, and 80 days. And we saw there was a engagement level at the end because the extension of the program gave a little bit of tiredness and even the contents wise, we couldn't provide enough 90 days exercise and nutrition plan that geared towards the body fat and muscle that measured from the device. So from the studies, we thought 60 days was still enough to make them lose average of 6 pounds to 12 pounds, even help us with even the revenue model wise. Okay. Having the actual trainer for 90 days is different than having them for 60 days. Yes.
So have you studied the long-term, if someone does this for 60 days, do you know where they're at health-wise 6 months later, or do you have plans in your roadmap to extend that so that they can keep healthy?
Yes. So right now, if you were done with our 60 days program, all you need to do is go back to our mobile app, measure this body fat and muscle again, and you can access some of the program that's available out there for different.
I see. This is quite incredible. Thank you.
Other questions or comments?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for your work and presentation. I have a question about the workplace wellness angle. You mentioned it a couple of different times. Can you just expand upon your angle there and what traction you might have found already, or what the barriers might be as you're trying to break into that segment of the B2B?
For the B2B, the reason we're trying to enter life insurance company is that right now, even for me, I do live in the United States, and to evaluate my health insurance, life insurance, they usually look for your weight and BMI. But as you can see, I'm short, but I'm a very muscular guy. So I still pay the amount that similar to the high obesity rate of people, because they're only using weights and BMI. So from our concern, a lot of insurance company was contacting us and saying, is there any other database that we can use to enhance our current underwriting portions? And the best fit right now is body fat and muscle. And that's why we thought our program 60 days can not only help their customer make them healthy lifestyle, but also help them with the underwriting portion of insurance fees. We can play with those insurance fees and even provide a new program or services to their current customers. That's why we partner up with Cigna. We did launch Employee Wellness Pilot together with Cigna, and all the participants was able to receive $50 insurance discount based on body fat and muscle, not from their step counts or all these traditional data. Yes. So that's why we thought life insurance could be the right B2B area at this time.
And Douglas, have you talked to any life insurance companies at this point?
We're still planning for our Cigna next pilots, but we do want to connect with AARP and Aetna. Aetna recently launched Health Hub. It's a retail where they can usually purchase some of the wellness devices. We're currently in discussing of having our kiosk there. And once they measure body fat and muscle, we can recommend some of the supplement that's sold in Aetna, the CVS the store. Yes. That's what we were talking about. Yes.
All right, and that was at the buzzer because there's 3 seconds left. So nice job. So yeah, nice job on the presentation. Thank you. You can turn your mic off, and you made it through. So next we've got Grace with CN Solution. Feel free to, video's already on, so just turn on your mic, share your screen, and we'll let you get going.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. What is
No worries, no rush. There's, it's a virtual event. This the kind of stuff always happens.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
For one of the, just to tell a embarrassing story about myself, or while we wait, about this program, is early in the program I was doing a presentation, and like a few minutes in, everyone was like, "We can't hear anything you're saying," and I had been on mute the first like 5 minutes.
And that was probably your best part of the whole presentation.
Right.
And we missed it.
That's when I gave all the secrets to how you grow sales. Why don't we, Grace, while you work on that, why don't we, Young Jay, if you're ready, we could go to CRTLAB and then come back to CN Solution.
All right.
So Young Jay, Grace might be ready.
No, sorry. I think that would be a good idea.
Okay, cool. Let's do that. So yeah, just go on mute again, and that'll keep you from popping on the screen. And then Young Jay, we'll turn it over to you. So whenever you're ready, go ahead, and I'll hit start.
Okay. So I'll start without the introduction. Every year, 14 million new businesses emerge, and the 31% of them are outsourcing the logo online, but the satisfaction rate is only 23%. Now that means, on the other hand, it's almost $2.5 billion wasted every year, and also the companies are having the wrong identity on their head all the time, and that loses a lot more in opportunity-wise. So why is this happening? Because first, the entrepreneurs, they lack the experiences of what the role of the branding or the logo design is, and also they lack it's really hard to communicate with the designers online. And third, they lack resources, such as time. So my name is Yongjae Kim. I'm from DL. We are making this online logo trading marketplace, or the services, and we're using whole basic idea is to do all this process without the meeting. So we make this a survey called Company Identity Indicator, which is just like, when we figure out the human personality, we figure out the company's personality, and then we build the branding above all that. So so all the company types are differentiated into 32, and this basically means that when we trade, such as logo online, 60% or 70% of them are wasted on the meeting. So we're making that into almost less than 10 minutes, and so that could shorten the time, shorten the resources, and everything. So it's really, really simple. It's almost 10 questions, not even 10 minutes. You might finish it in 1 minute. Multiple choices, and after that's done, your company will have your data, and their designers have their own data too, and they're going to be matched. And each column has a different values, but overall they have the score of a matching score, and if your matching score is the highest, you get matched. And those designers will bring you the first draft, and you're going to pick one of them, and then they're going to finish one. So at the end, you get your logo design, your visual guide, and also your personality, company identity indicator. Okay. So these are what we have done so far, as an example. And we have competitors, yes. Well, I think the most different thing is that we also provide visual guide. So with that visual guide, you get your logo and your logo system by only $1,000, which is even cheaper than the average price here in Seoul, and also I believe much cheaper than the price in their Seattle. And the funny thing is that we, as I said, we provide 3 first drafts, and by 3 different designers, and you pick one of them. So 2 of them are left, and we create the data bank from them, and then we're gonna get matched with those data, not with the designers later. That could lower the price even more to like $100. So why this is good for the business, global business, because it's all design files. As you know, our survey is all multiple choices. There's no language barrier. And also I had a company in US, and then had clients there so far. And then our team is also formed with global I mean, almost more than half of them are actually studied in US and also work in US. And we partner with this early stage startup helping, I'll say, grant executing places or so. So they introduce more than like 20 companies to us every year or more. And we're starting from the logo because logo is a start from all the visual representation. After that, we can make web, brochure, business card packaging, and also marketing and everything. So that's why we started from there. So we need $300,000 amount of seed investment, and then they're gonna get us through the initial marketing to the global market. Thank you.
Alrighty, nice job. Yeah, if you want to stop sharing your screen, then we'll go over to judges. And Emily, I assumed your hand would be ready and your hands up, so we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, this is beautiful. I mean, I've used 99 Designs, and they actually gave us one that was copyright infringement. So I think you definitely have an opportunity to disrupt a market that needs disrupting. So kudos to you for that. I'd love to hear about, what you've learned from, like, how many customers do you have today, what you've learned from them, and how do you plan? So you're raising 300. How quickly, like, how many customers do you plan on adding in the next year, and what kind of revenue are we talking in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yes. So did I stop the screen? Oh, okay. All right. So we had over about like 200 customers so far.
Awesome.
And then we're trying to figure out the satisfaction rate, and then that we got around like 70%, and I think that's very optimistic. But revenue wise, I'm thinking of we're aiming for $1 million this year. And last year we had $200,000 so far. But many of them, I'll say the initial logo making is not the main source of the income now. We're after that's done, they're satisfied. They come back and, oh, can you do packages? Can you do this? Can you do that? So that's the main source. But I hope that the first logo making is their income will increase a lot more.
So on that note, what do you think the lifetime value is versus the initial project? I'm just curious about orders of magnitude there.
Can you tell me again?
Yeah, so I'm curious about the initial project. If it's the logo design is $1,000, but what do you think the lifetime value of that customer is, and what percentage of your customers do you think will do $4,000 versus $1,000? Like, what's your hypothesis around your unit economics?
So well, the funny thing we figured out is that while we trade, when we still have the very cheap solution, our main target might shift from early stage startups to other branding companies. So with that lifespan, I honestly not sure that people were gonna make a logo and then they're gonna come back and make another one. So I'll say, and that never happened yet. So that's why we are making the chain other businesses like connected to it. I hope I understand your questions well. And then what was the last one? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just curious about your unit economics, because if your lifetime value on the first project is $1,000, but it's worth $10,000 for the customer, then your customer acquisition could be, you could spend $500 to acquire the customer to get a bigger lifetime value. Lower your margin on the first project, increasing your margin over the lifetime is kind of those are the unit economic questions I guess I would be paying attention to if I were you, as you continue to grow, right, and expand into the US, because your customer acquisition cost here is going to be high, right, just because there's so many competitors.
Yes,
that's what I'm thinking about when I'm listening to your pitch.
The reason I didn't understand is I didn't do any marketing on this last year, so I don't know anything about it. all I did is do the contract with those organizations. They introduced like many as a pack to us. But after, I'll figure out something soon.
All right, and Nick, I think I saw you had your hand up. So if you want to do final question, and then Grace will go to you after that.
Sure, and I don't want to take any of the wind out of the sails because this was a wonderful presentation and beautiful as Emily outlined and underscored. So I don't want to take away from that. I'm curious about competition. That's kind of my mantra here. And Canva seems to be one that I don't think showed up on your deck, but is a popular free non-AI, as far as I can tell, option free for folks. So how does that compete with that customer acquisition piece that Dave was drilling down on? How do you still get customers in the door when Canva might be a viable option for them?
Yeah, Canva is a great option. There are a bunch of templates that you can go in and then quickly make it, but they're not done by. There's no like branding consultants actually going in, because it's not just about this good-looking shape. It's more about representing the company, and that wise, I think we're more focused on that process because we're only doing that. And then we not mentioned it here, but we have some like Wix is making the logo maker, Luca is making logo maker, and there's Fivers, and lots of them are actually connecting with the logo designers. So I think we are like half automated, but actual makers are human. I think that's the key of balancing with the fast and accurate speed, and also representing the human emotional facts on that. So I think that's why we're different.
Great. Well, good job. You made it through. So yeah, feel free to just turn your mic off, and then we'll move on to the next person. So Grace, your screen is up. So well, it's a different screen, but we can at least see your Zoom link. There it is. So yeah, just go off mute, and whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and get started, and I'll start the timer. You're on mute.
Nick, she's learned from the best.
So in the bottom left, there should be, you should see your microphone. I'll click this ask to unmute. Hopefully something pops up. There we go. We can hear you now.
Hi. So hi everyone, my name is Grace and I'm from CN Solution, and we are an AI company that provides a service for diagnosing rare diseases. So our company started 2 years ago with our in-painting object removal service. We have various technology services collaborating with several major companies in Korea, such as Samsung SDS, KAIST, Sampyo, and so on. And we currently have a lot of technologies such as pose estimation, blurring faces for privacy, handwriting recognition, and face combination, etc. And we have a lot of projects going on at the moment, such as making AI dance apps, removing false posts, and much more. So over the last couple of months, we realized that we can use this image analysis technology that we have to diagnose and treat rare diseases. So with our GAN-based video and image control technology, we can produce related images and make our technology learn how to diagnose and treat the diseases. So to make this possible, we will continuously gather data, and as the number of the data increases, the accuracy of our service will also increase. So through continuous de-identification of current patient information, prescriptions, treatment processes, and results of current diagnostic diseases such as MRIs and CTs, our device will learn the patterns and how to diagnose the diseases. So currently we are at an early stage, and we have just started we started gathering data about 2 years ago. So yeah, so we think that our technology, we're hoping that our technology will assist surgeries and drug prescription based on the gathered data that we gather and prepare us for the future telemedicine market. And because there are many diseases that exist in this world, and the reality is that it's hard to identify a lot of them, we thought that addressing this problem would be good, so we can serve a bigger problem. Yeah, in addition to the current services that we already have. So for the system for identifying and treating the rare diseases, the current system can be seen as quite inefficient, and this is because there is a shortage of appropriate data because they're rare diseases, despite the continuous need for it. So there is a lack of expertise for these rare diseases and insufficient knowledge about them, which makes diagnosing and treatment even more difficult. Yeah. So for our company, we are actually in an early stage of researching and gathering data and testing. So from January in 2018 to October 2020, we gathered 53 cases for the testing of our device. And we are planning to gather as much data as possible in the future. And this is, I guess, where our company needs help, because we see potential in this service, but we are focusing, Okay, so for the service, we're collaborating with a medical device company named Dyne Company, and together we are planning to expand to the areas of treatment prediction and prevention software and hardware step by step. And as you can see, the size of the market for diagnosing rare diseases has continuously been growing and will continue to grow in the future. Yeah, so this is a technology roadmap of our company for this service that we're hoping to launch. So we've divided it into 3 different phases. The first phase being from 2021 to 2023, where we expect to enter the endoscopic market. And the second phase is from 2023 to 2025, where we hope to enter the surgical robot field. And the third phase from 2025 to provide our service platform to private hospitals. Yeah, so to go into more detail for the plans we have for our phases, in phase 1, we hope to achieve our phase 1 by improving our image diagnostic accuracy through continuous treatment data collection and attaching non-identification processes using our object recognition technology. And during phase 2, we will continue to carry out the gathering the samples and receiving ongoing feedback regarding our data collection, prescription, and treatment. And lastly, phase 3, We are, by phase 3, we are actually aiming to be able to provide high quality medical services with high accuracy, like higher accuracy and efficiency at reasonable prices to private hospitals. So, and of course, data collection will continue to carry on for the diagnosis and treatment to become more accurate. So I guess we're starting with endoscopy. We plan to provide engines for artificial intelligence based medical devices for small businesses, private businesses in the future, and data providers with synthetic data utilization technologies that can provide improved accuracy with less data. Yeah, thank you for listening.
Okay, nicely done. So you can go ahead and stop sharing your screen, and then we'll get to a couple judge questions here in the last few minutes. Quick preface for the judges, just so you know. So Grace recently joined the company, and they're going through a recent pivot. So there might be some stuff she doesn't know, but we have time for 2 or 3 questions. So if anyone wants to jump in first.
I initially thought you were going after visual search and then you went to rare diseases. My guess is you probably don't require FDA approval at this point as much as helping doctors inform their decisions and then using that data to help you build your AI model. So that's probably the way I'd change the pivot, but huge market and great opportunity. I think my wife's a cancer survivor. So the fact that the first few doctors we talked to were practicing medicine, and then we finally saw somebody who knew what they wanted. They were like, oh, well, that's Hodgkin's disease. And we're like, what? Right? Where the other doctors. So like, I would look at it as a channel strategy, I think is the way I'd probably pitch it, but way to pick up the ball and finish, right? And way to add to the team. So well done on that point as well. So thanks for doing that.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Joanne, I think I saw you were going to say
something. I'm just clear on, you laid out very clearly what the roadmap is, starting with endoscopy and going through, but I'm unclear on what exists today. And I know that your company has done a lot of work in other fields with image identification and stuff. But can you talk about, like, from an MVP standpoint, or from what exists today towards where you're going with this?
So actually we are, to be really clear about this, I guess we are at a very, very early stage, and there's a lot of meetings going on with the CEO of Dyne Company, which is the medical device company. And as I said, we've gathered data, but it's 53 cases until now. So I guess it isn't that much, and we're aiming to get 50,000 samples. Yeah, and that would be enough accuracy for us to be oh, we're more efficient and more accurate than other companies. And I guess my CEO, he just wants to know that this area has enough potential for us to be oh yeah, we're gonna put all our energy and all our thing into.
One more question I keep going back and forth in my mind: is the accent Australian or South African?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh, I was born and raised in New Zealand.
New Zealand. Okay, thank you.
American
I go back and forth in my mind. I'm definitely not South African. No, maybe, but okay.
Truly global program. We got time for one more question. Emily or Nick, any final question or thoughts from y'all?
Mine were covered well. Thank you, Grace.
Cool. Sweet. Well, with that, Grace, good job. You made it through. Congratulations. And then also to everyone else, good job tonight. So I'll click stop recording here now. So